we are here again, and this is My Shoes. Let's walk with Sandy and guest Debbie.
I'm Sandy.
How are you today?
I'm good.
We're going to walk?
We are going to walk.
We're just going to keep walking.
That's right.
And the neat thing about it is when you share stories with us, go to myshoesletswalk@gmail.com. When you share these stories with us, it's our shoes. Let's walk.
Yes.
And right now, let's walk in our shoes and see where we go.
Absolutely. I'm excited to see the adventure.
Yes, and you're a nurse.
I am.
Registered nurse.
Registered.
ER. Is that what you
ER.
said?
Yeah, that was my main forte. I did med surg, ICU, home care, home infusion.
Okay,
Yeah.
we know who to call. Who you gonna call?
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny because my shoes. Let's walk. Can you see the shoes?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, these are sitting here like this, right? I don't know these, but it brought back a memory of mine that I was born very pigeon-toed.
And I would have never known that.
Well, that's because things changed.
They did.
Now, my sisters told me, and I had 3 sisters, so there were 4 of us girls, poor dad, but they told me that they had a wooden bar on my feet, so you probably would know what that is, to keep my...
Older orthotic stuff, probably not. I kind of seen some of the braces back then, but
Yeah, and we're talking, way back.
Way back.
not
Oh.
the dinosaur days, but a few years ago.
Because my older sister, she's 8 years older than me, and she had told me that there was a wooden bar to keep my feet out because I was so
Oh, to keep them from turning in. Yes.
turning in.
Yes.
I don't remember that part, but I do remember going to stores with my sisters, and they were so jealous. My shoes cost a lot more than theirs did, and we had to go to Hush Puppies store. What was the one with the dog?
Hush puppies. Yep.
They're the only ones that made this special insert that went in my shoes to try to keep my feet going outward. And it smelled so good. I guess it was the glue. I love going in that store, and I take my shoes on.
It wasn't the leather?
They were leather.
Could have been the
It
leather,
wasn't
too.
leather. It
It
wasn't
might have
glue.
been, but no, they had to glue these things in there, so I'm sure it was
It's
a
a
combination.
combination.
You don't know what happened to me all these years.
Lucy in the sky.
Oh my gosh. But
Start calling you Lucy.
there you go. There you go, babe. No way. But I was made fun of quite often because
That's
I was
sad.
pigeon-toed and stuff.
Aw.
And I couldn't, I would trip over my own feet. And I still do, but it's not because of that.
I was just going to say that. I could do that too, and I'm
Sorry.
not pigeon-toed.
Peanut galleys.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry. But yeah,
Over the years, just to get back to that a little bit, and I had said before that I was run over by my husband, and I was a teenager at the
Yes.
time, and I hooked up my parents, and I had to be reconstructive. My pelvises were crushed, my right hip. I was reconstructed and told I would never walk again. So I told my parents they wasted all that money on me. And I'm not pigeon-toed anymmer.
And look at you. You walk all over the place.
I do.
You do.
I do have a limp. And it's really funny. I ran into somebody just a couple days ago. And she said, "Why are you limping?" And I've known this person for a long time.
She never noticed.
Never
it.
noticed.
really.
Never noticed. And I have a severe limp. You should have seen it before. Oh my God. We'll go into those stories. I had several.
I know when I
reconstructive.
first met you, I didn't notice.
Yeah. And that's, one of my theories was that
The smile. They see the smile, and they don't see anything else.
and
And they shouldn't. They
yeah.
should see you.
Yeah, and I have done that for most of my life. Just
Absolutely.
keep the smile on, and they don't
Yes.
notice the other part.
Yes.
Although there's times, and I'll tell stories about that too, where I would go out with my sister Sally. She moved up to Milwaukee with me, and we would go out, and I would go to a bar, a dance club, and of course I didn't get up and dance. But this is before some of the surgeries really took
Right.
place,
Okay.
and I was really bad shape. I might find some pictures, I don't know, but it was pretty embarrassing. I would sit on that stool and have to pee so bad.
Oh.
And I would be too embarrassed to get up and go to the bathroom
Oh, poor thing.
because I was afraid people would see me and how I walked.
Oh.
And that went on for years. And then I started watching people, and I'm realizing they're so worried about themselves. They're looking in the mirror, they're looking in the
Yes.
reflection over here, they're looking
Yes.
at themselves. And now we have phones,
That
but
was
back
very-
then we didn't have that. We didn't have the phones for selfies, and so their selfies were constantly looking at their reflections, and they were so worried about looking at themselves that they didn't even notice me.
You know what? I think that for myself, I always noticed your smile, so I think maybe that's more what, like you said, people see. Yeah.
Yeah, but I bet you have stories from your nursing days and in the hospitals and antics and
I think it's probably one of the funniest stories we ever did, and it was a rare night when it was not busy because stuff happens at night. But if we got really, really bored on a slow night, we would have wheelchair races, and we would see who was like. We'd start out with say maybe 4 wheelchairs, 2 in each hallway, because the nurse's desk went up to center. And so we'd all start off in the hall, or 2 on each side, and whiz down, and then the winners of each side would then have to race each other, and then we would do a next heat of the next 2 wheelchairs. So we kind of made it down to the 2 competitors to see, and I was always the one crashing into the walls. I was the one that was always almost a patient in the ER. It wasn't very
you're
good.
in the right place.
I was never coordinated with the wheelchairs. I had no
Oh my
clue.
gosh, I bet you guys
So
laughed.
needless to say, I never won.
Oh, no.
But it was all right.
Oh
The
my
laughs
gosh.
were hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But now, was this where there were patients in the rooms as you're going past and they're hearing all this?
Yes. Yes, because the ER was kind of adjacent to the med surg floor. So, I mean, there's always people in the ER, and they could always overhead us if they had to. So, it was rare. We were a really small rural ER, too. So at that time, I think we only had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 beds in that ER before it had renovated to a bigger ER. And so, we always left a nurse, because a lot of times the docs wanted to come to and do it. And they always had a way to even just make a blurb, just make some stupid sound so it wasn't anything super recognizable over the loudspeaker, because back then you still used them.
Okay.
And we'd go do it, and of course people in the med surg wings were sleeping. We were sort of quiet. It was kind of, like we're wheeling somebody down the hall, but it was us.
It's probably like that garbage truck that comes at 6 a.m. in the
Yeah.
morning and you hear. I'm sure your laughter was louder than the cheers.
Probably. Good thing was you rarely had a night where you could actually do that, but it was funnier than heck.
Yeah.
We had fun.
Yeah. So laughs from a hospital.
Yeah,
That's
because you
fun.
got to have them. That's the only way to decompress sometimes with some of the stuff you see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually would call them laughs from a body cast at one time when I was in a body cast.
Yes, you would.
Yeah. Now I was in a wheelchair for a while because I couldn't because I had traction. So I was in and out from traction back to a body cast, back to traction for months, back and forth
Wow.
for the whole year. But my cart, and now this hospital in Milwaukee had the old wheelchairs, the wooden
Oh, with the
huge-
caned backs and
the
everything?
cane
Wow.
backs, and they were huge, and they would flip me like a pancake on my stomach onto my cart that had these big wheels. So I'm laying down, and I've got these big wheels that I could roll around. And I knew how to
so you could reach
Spin
and
it too.
Really?
I had that thing down. I was a
Wow.
But I would get a group of people with their wheelchairs and me on my cart, and we would go down to the lobby when it was really slow, and we would have a demolition derby.
Oh
Now,
my
ours was called a
goodness.
demolition derby,
yeah.
and we'd be smashing because people are coming in to visit people in the hospital.
So you're trying to divert around the people?
There are not that many people, but we'd be over in the corner in the waiting room, and there weren't many people there. But we'd have a demolition derby just to have the reaction of them watching us smash into each other. I had the advantage because you gotta realize I'm on this cart and I could swing it around and wipe them out.
Wow.
I could go back and wipe
That's
them out.
funny.
It
And you
was-
never hurt yourself?
No, I was in a potty cast.
Oh, that's true. That's true. You have your armor
I
on.
had my armor on. Now every once in a while, somebody with a broken leg and is sticking out there, they'd be see me coming.
Yeah.
But there would be about 6, 8 of us at a time because I'd
Wow.
grab the people from the other rooms and we just do it. No
That's fun.
permission. And we had this really smart idea one day. And because there was a hill and this beautiful lake with these trees and the ducks and the swans and we go outside. We need to go down there by the lake.
Oh, really? Oh, no.
It was a beautiful day, and we all took a trip down to the lake.
You needed a road trip.
We had a road trip,
That's
and none
funny.
of us could get back up the hill.
That's
They
funny.
had to come.
Didn't
down.
think that one through, did you?
We were young, okay? We were having fun, but they had to send the orderlies and the people down there, and they're
Come
all
get
down there
ya.
trying to get us up this hill. And these
That's
there's-
funny.
So we kind of got in trouble.
She'd be like, you're the only
Oops.
person that would have gotten expelled from a hospital.
Yes,
Like
yes.
a school.
Yes, I would have been the only person, and I did get in a little bit of trouble, and I said, "Arrest me."
Exactly.
Take
You're
me
already in a
in
body
now.
cast. What's going to
Yeah.
happen?
Yeah, I've
That's
been here,
funny.
and at that time I may have been there for 9 months already, and knew everybody anyway.
There you go.
But-
Hey, it's just Sandy.
yeah, and you have to have fun.
That's
I
right,
mean,
you have
make the
to.
best of it.
Yeah.
So
My oldest son was in the hospital. He actually had an appendicitis, but he was born with a brain injury, so he didn't feel pain like everybody would. So, unfortunately, even as a registered nurse, I missed that he was having belly pain because his thing about going to school, Mom, I don't want to go to school today. I've got a belly ache, or I'm sick to my stomach,
never
which
heard
was
that before.
yeah, exactly, common occurrence, common. And so the day that I kind of was suspicious of something happening, and he had a seizure disorder, so I thought, you're looking a little gray, a little glassy-eyed. I think we're going to keep you home because I think you're going to have a seizure. And he had a field trip he wanted to go on, and he had a fit. But I was like, no, I think we're going to keep you home. Sister-in-law next door, she watched him, but then she called me up and said, Josh can't go to the bathroom, can't urinate. So
Oh, no.
my friend was the surgeon, happened to be sitting right next to me, and he's like, no, Josh needs to come in now.
Oh no.
And sadly, Josh had a ruptured appendix.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. So he's very
How?
lucky. He was 10, I think.
Oh
he
my
was around
gosh.
10.
But you wouldn't expect that, right?
Mm.
From a young person,
No.
that's very uncommon.
I don't know. 3 of my 4 children all had appendicitis.
Is it
yeah.
hereditary?
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Genetic.
we talked about with the surgeon. He said it was possible. So my 4th child, when he had gastroenteritis, he admitted him because he was afraid that possibly it could have been an appendicitis.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would.
So
Something to look
weirdly,
out for.
yes,
Parents.
exactly,
Mhm.
exactly. So the
Wow.
funny thing was, here's poor Josh. He was in the hospital for a month because he ended up with, you couldn't close the wound. He had a little bit of peritonitis because of the rupture.
Mm.
And he was actually very lucky. He was sick, but just always kept the Josh smile and the Josh happiness because he's always a very happy person. Well, one night we were doing those wheelchair races when Josh was in the hospital, and he had they closed down one of the semi-privates to a private for him, and we went whizzing down, and Josh kind of came out, I want to do it too.
Aw.
But he had too many IV poles. He had the NG in.
You don't have to run with them. Is that?
I know, and I'm like, I'm sorry, Mommy's bad.
Aw.
Mommy will stop. And he didn't understand. He's like, but I want to do it too. Well, we clamped his NG, and then we just popped the IVs off the pump and just clamped them off. Just gave him a ride. We kind of did a real fast ride without it being an actual race because he literally wanted to race.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the daredevil too,
Yes.
so he would have loved to have done that. But I think that was pretty much when I ended my race time because we weren't really a pediatric hospital, but we did have some peds. And I realized, oops, these kids want to do it too.
Oh, yeah. You're having too much fun out there. I want what they're having.
Let me do it. I want to do it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
It was funny.
Yes.
And Josh with his big old grin, and G hanging out, Ivy's hanging on the back, and we're whizzing him down the hallway.
Wow.
It was funny.
Wow. And how to overcome, it's
Yeah.
about,
Yeah, and it made a good memory for him.
yeah.
Yeah, just like you when you get stuck down by the lake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
orderlies have to push you up
Yeah.
hills.
Didn't hurt me.
No, they didn't look out that day. They were looking out for them.
they may have been cute. Who knows? Who knows? I can't remember, but yeah, lots of stories that we
Lot
can
of stories.
share.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I was just gonna say, what time? How much time do we have? How much time have we been on here?
I don't know,
Yeah.
15.
Oh wow, we don't. I don't want to
Okay.
keep it. I don't want.
You know,
keep
Joe
people,
Rogan goes for 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, we're not.
Yeah.
There. we wanna mix in happy, sad with happy,
Yeah.
overcoming, forgiving, the whole gamut, and we're just gonna try to cover everything.
Yes.
And go to myshoesletswalk@gmail.com.
Yes.
Share your stories with us, please, so we can,
Yes.
touch on some of this and
Yeah.
possibly do some call-ins eventually here. And I know that we're going to be posting contacts for.
Oh, yes, for contacts. So if you have an issue such as any type of domestic abuse, child abuse, elder abuse, sexual assault, things on that line, we'll provide a national hotline and a website to go to.
Yeah, and in recoveries. And
Yes.
I know,
Yes.
a lot of people that have been through a lot of stuff that we've been through can't handle it the way that we can, or they just don't know how. So maybe we can help them get the help they
Yes,
need, or at
exactly.
least to talk, or even if, like I said, we can do call-ins, but we're not the professionals, we're not
No.
licensed to do that.
Correct.
But we
Correct.
can direct them to these people
Correct.
that they will need.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, the appropriate avenues
Yes.
for them to walk down.
Yes.
to get the
And I
help they
think by
need.
sharing our stories and sharing your stories, our Shoes Let's Walk stories, may shed some light, or, like I said before, let you know you're not alone.
Yes,
You're
absolutely.
not alone.
Nobody's alone.
No, there's
No.
others out there just like you, just like us, and others that aren't,
Right.
but
Yeah.
still need.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
If you know somebody.
Right, absolutely. Reach out.
Yeah. So this is My Shoes Let's Walk with Sandy and guest Debbie. And our shoes, if you share stories with us, and we're sharing our shoes with you, so please share. But we don't want to step on anybody's toes. Just remember that we're here for you, and we're just sharing. We're not the professionals.
Right.
We are human.
Absolutely.
Been there, done that, probably.
Yeah, we just care.
Yes, we care.
Yes.
Yes. So
Mhm.
keep walking, people. Love you.